Alright folks, today's video was really fun. Brisket in a blanket. Stay tuned. It's time to grill. I recently launched a video for a stuffed brisket. In this video I had two parts of a brisket. Today it's time for part number 2. I like to season my brisket just with salt and pepper, or my own mix Jack and Smoke, whiskey pepper meets smoked salt and red berries. Great stuff. Season it and throw it on your grill. We are using the GMG Daniel Boone grill today, and we are looking for a temperature of 99 degrees Celsius. About 190 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way. We are smoking this for 6 hours. Here's the result after 6 hours. Take some butcher's paper, place it in the middle, and add some liquid. I prefer beer, but you can also use sweet stuff like Coke or lemonade, apple juice, apple cider vinegar, a lot of versions possible. Now wrap it tightly, make sure to have almost the exact amount or more or less the exact amount of paper under and below and on top of the meat. So like this. Place it back on the grill, higher the temperature to 140 degrees Celsius, about 290 degrees Fahrenheit, and let that smoke there for another 4 hours. So the total cooking time of this brisket is about 10 hours. It's really juicy and it looks very good. Place it on your cutting board and let it rest for 15 minutes. This is the perfect time for some close-ups. I like the crust and it's really juicy. Now take a sharp knife and cut some slices. It doesn't really matter, you will just take smaller pieces later for the puff pastry thing, so it doesn't really matter how thick the slices are. It's really tender and, as I mentioned, it's really juicy. I love brisket and it's so easy to make with those pellet smokers. I still can remember me dancing around the smoker a whole night for keeping temperature. This is so easy now. I made a video for pulled pork and mac and cheese pies several weeks ago, and I promised to make a version with puff pastry. That's the moment where this thing in a blanket came into my mind. That's why we are using fresh puff pastry here today. It's store-bought puff pastry. For me, it's not worth the effort for making puff pastry by myself, so this is why I'm using the store-bought thing. Now you will need 6 for placing on top and 6 pieces for placing inside the baking thing. And we are using the same tool that we used several weeks ago for the pulled pork pies. So we have a bigger piece and 6 smaller pieces. Let that heat up and place the bigger part, the bigger pieces of the puff pastry inside this great machine. I love it. The heat is very good, and it's good in baking, and it's really hot on top, which makes a big difference. So if you're just using a muffin pan or something like this. Now put in some of that brisket pieces, and of course just let your creativity fly. You could add ground cheese, a lot of different things. I decided to add some French onions. It adds a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of a crunch. You could also think about adding a tablespoon of barbecue sauce inside that puff pastry thing. Then place the other pieces on top and let that bake for 8 minutes. And I have to confess that the results are way better than with the dough I made by myself in that pulled pork video. The cool thing on YouTube is that you don't have to wait the complete 8 minutes. Here is the result. I love the color and it's juicy inside. It tastes way better, and I just love using puff pastry sometimes when it comes to my grill and barbecue dishes. We had that meat snails several years ago, and I love using this thing. I love it. I guess puff pastry is polarizing, whether you love it or you hate it. I love it. Now, of course, as always, we cut, and then I'm gonna give this a shot. Please hit that like button and share it with your friends and family. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Of course, you can leave me a comment if you are into anything in a blanket. Pigs in a blanket, wiener in a blanket. So this is my version of brisket in a blanket. I love it. Okay, please make sure to visit my fan pages as well. You can find 0815 BBQ almost everywhere. Facebook, Insta, TikTok. I would really appreciate that. Delicious stuff, great finger food. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm out. See you.